Greetings, grade 6 students. How are you doing? Today is spelling day, and for today's lesson focuses on easily confused words. Before we start, I'd like you to have with you your readers and writers English textbook, your English copybook, as well as your pen. Another thing, grade 6, it is a must for you to finish watching this video and other links related to it before answering the RWN activity pages. Thank you. Today, we will learn about define and spell the words correctly, pronounce the words with accuracy, use the vocabulary words in meaningful sentences. Let's begin. Confusables is an informal term for two or more words that are usually confused with one another because of similarities in spelling, such as desert and dessert, or personal and personnel. In pronunciation as well, we have allusion and illusion, accidental and incidental, perspective and prospective, and or meaning like imply and infer. Let's try to read these easily confused words. You can repeat after me, and later on, you can pause this video and read the words by yourself. Proceed, precede. Advise, advise. Formerly, formally. Further, farther. Personal, personnel. Emigrate, emigrate. College, collage. Dissent, dissent. Persecution, prosecution. Envelop, and envelope. You can pause this video and read the words again. Let's begin. Let's define every word. Proceed versus precede. These two words have similar sounds. The two words share a root seed which comes from the Latin sedere, which originally meant to go. With precede, the prefix pre means before. So precede is to go before. In proceed, the prefix pro means forward, and therefore proceed is to go forward. Look at the examples. Before we proceed further, does anyone have any questions? We will proceed according to plan. We may not be able to proceed as planned. A great analysis was to precede a great synthesis, but it was the synthesis on which Comte's vision was centered from the first. A moral transformation must precede in a real advance. Advice and advice. Advice with an S is a verb meaning to give counsel, to offer an opinion or suggestion as worth following. On the other hand, advice with a C is a noun meaning an opinion or recommendation offered as a guide of action or conduct. Meanwhile, in American English, the word practice doubles as both a noun and a verb. Examples. I couldn't think of a logical way to advise John. Or you can say, I decided to follow your advice and take a vacation. Formerly versus formally is our next word. Formally means conforming to convention, ceremony, and proper etiquette. Formally also means precise, methodical, or with official authorization. Formally is the adverbial form of formal. Formally appears in the English language in the late 14th century, meaning in good form, in an orderly manner. Formally means in the past, previously, or in earlier times. Formerly is the adverbial form of former. In the early 14th century, the Middle English word for formerly was undersith. Formerly appears in the late 16th century. Examples. Sea elephants and fur seals were formerly plentiful. Or we can say, the Republic was formally constituted in 1830. Our next word is farther and further. Further versus farther. The quick and dirty tip is to use farther for physical distance and further for metaphorical or figurative distance. It's easy to remember because farther has the word far in it, and far obviously relates to physical distance. Examples refers to physical distance only. We had to walk farther than the map indicated. Or in addition to a greater extent, we need to discuss this further, farther, and further. Personal versus personal. Personal comes from the Latin personalis, which means pertaining to a person. Personnel is a plural noun that denotes the people who are employed in an organization, such as business, company, or military service. Look at examples. Read it by yourself. Very good. Bus station and airport personnel had been questioned, but no one remembered anything of note. Or we can also say, we don't accept personal checks. He is a personal friend of mine. Immigrate versus immigrate. Emigrate means to leave one's country to live in another. Immigrate is to come into another country to live permanently. Migrate is to move like birds in the winter. The choice between emigrate and immigrate and migrate depends on the sentence point of view. Examples. The war caused the family to emigrate from their homeland to a new country. Such is the plight of day laborers, many of whom immigrate to this country in search of better pay. That's immigrate versus emigrate. Collage and collage is our next word. The main difference between collage and college is that collage is a technique of art production using assemblage of different forms, and college is an educational institution. A college, Latin collegium, is an educational institution or a constituent part of one. College versus collage. Examples. Creating a collage out of all her childhood pictures, Jaliza used her artistic ability help her make the perfect mother's gift. Or you can say she teaches art at a local college, or he graduated from one of the country's best colleges. Dissent versus dissent. Descent is a noun meaning the way down or passage down. Dissent may be a verb or a noun. When it is a verb, it means to not agree. As a noun, it means a different opinion. They began the long descent hand in hand. The flakes drifted directly down, undisturbed in their descent by any hint of a breeze in the still night air. Dissent as a noun. Example, church leaders permitted no dissent from church teachings. He did everything in his power to suppress political dissent. As a verb, two members dissented from the majority. Dissent versus dissent. Persecution versus prosecution. Prosecute means to bring legal action against for redress or punishment of a crime or violation of law. Persecute means to harass, to punish, in a manner designed to injure, grieve, or afflict specifically, or to cause to suffer because of belief. The store's owner agreed not to prosecute if the boy returned the stolen goods. The country's leader relentlessly persecuted those who fought against the regime. They were persecuted for their beliefs. Persecution versus prosecution. Envelope with an E versus envelope without E. An envelope is a flat paper container with a sealable flap used to enclose a document. The verb envelope without an E on the end means to surround or to enclose. It is sometimes confused with the noun envelope, which most commonly refers to a flat rectangular paper container for a letter. Examples: he pulled photos from the envelope as he spoke. On the other hand, look at the next example. As she cried on the porch, Brenda felt her husband's strong arms envelop her in a tight hug. That's envelope with an E versus envelope without E at the end. The other examples, you can read them by yourself and see how it is being used in the sentence. After watching this video, grade 6 students, I will now redirect your attention to answer pages 411 and 444. Again, I'd like you to remember this. Write neatly and legibly, write on the line, and copy the correct spelling. That's it for our spelling session today, grade 6 students. I hope you learned something. Again, in case you still need to watch and understand the meaning of every word carefully, you can go back watching this video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and see you again tomorrow.